a blueprint. Study my movement, more than the 2 cents. Was losing, now I'm oozing with success. Now I got the tools to beat the stress. I lose cause I'm a step ahead of you with no...
Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries as we talk about Royal Rumble 2022. All right, so let's not bury the lead. You got to talk about the most important thing first. I know I said I was going to get a shawarma, but then I changed my mind, decided to have tacos. But because I can't eat salsa, because, the tomatoes and the red sauce, I wouldn't be able to sleep. Incredible heartburn. So I decided to put, the shawarma to the side, decided to have tacos, made the tacos myself. I like soft shell tacos, by the way. It was pretty good. Drinking water with it, though, probably a bad idea. Water, flour tacos, it kind of, expands in your stomach, gets you really sleepy. But it was pretty good, so... That was the best thing of the evening, if we're being honest, was the tacos that I made. Then I had to sit down and watch this show, and the show was absolutely depressing. It was one of the most boring shows in a long, long time, and it didn't need to be. I mean, when you suck all the excitement out of the fucking show, it tends to be quite boring. Now, I guess since I am obligated to do this review, let's start with Brock Lesnar winning the men's Royal Rumble match, which of course comes off the heels of him losing the WWE Championship. So I guess we could talk about both those things together, since it is what it is. Brock versus Bob, the match I wanted to see more than anything, felt like an absolute afterthought on numerous different levels. One, it seemed like nobody was taking it that seriously. They didn't really do much of anything. Now, I did like early in the match where you had Lashley get German suplex and he didn't really sell it. And then he German suplex Brock and Brock laughed at it like, oh, okay. It seemed like we were starting to build something there. That it was really going to start feeling like a Clash of the Titans, what we really wanted to see. But the match was short. Bob crashed through the barricade. Didn't really sell that too much. He was down for a little while, but then he was back up pretty quickly. But it got to a certain point where Lashley was pretty much on the ropes. He was pretty much done for. Now, I did like the hurt lock, especially like the spot how they got into it, where he countered into the full Nelson, where he countered the F5 into the full Nelson. Brock's selling of the hurt lock was pretty good. They did not break it, which is what I thought was going to happen. I was waiting for Brock to go, rah, and just snap that son of a bitch. But it didn't occur, so Lashley's hurt lock didn't get broken. But then they did the ref bump. And then they did the second ref bump. And I was like, oh boy. Oh, brother. Oh, what kind of chicanery is coming up here now? Then we got Roman. Roman comes into the ring, spears Brock, boom. Goes over to Paul, respectfully requests the WWE Championship. Paul considers it, hands the belt to Roman. Roman then dots Brock Lesnar across the head with the belt, and Lashley just pins Brock after that. And I said, this is absolutely disgusting. Not because, look, the Paul Roman thing makes perfect sense. That's great storytelling. We kind of all saw that Brock was gonna end up losing Paul, and that Paul was gonna turn on Brock. We all knew that was coming. I had been saying that for a while, that they were gonna have Paul turn on Brock. So I wasn't that upset about that part. I was upset about how much attention it took away from Lashley winning. I was upset not only because Lashley won without using any of his own moves. He won because Roman Reigns hit Brock Lesnar with the belt. Brock Lesnar didn't even get back on his feet. So, Lashley could hit him with something else. A spear, a jackhammer, put him back in a hurt lock, but Brock is out, so he can't answer. Nothing. So it didn't make Bobby look any good. We might as well have won the title by vacancy or by forfeit. Now, look, I'm at the point where I'm just glad Bob won. Sure. I was thrilled Bob won. And I saw somebody say, oh, nobody cares about Lashley. I'm like, oh, yeah. They did take away some of the reaction because there was so much heat that was dumped on Roman for interrupting the match. And, you know, the whole Paul Heyman thing, they stole a lot of it. That is absolutely true. But once Bobby was coming up the ramp, people were cheering him. You know, people were chanting for Lashley and everything. Everybody felt like it was some great wrong had been corrected. You know, like they had gotten some closure with Bobby finally getting it back in a way that makes sense, but it does not put Bobby on Lesnar's level, which was the point of this fucking match. It was the point of this fucking match was to have Lashley on Brock's level. This was like how Chris Jericho beat The Rock or something like that. All right, this is not the same thing. This is Lashley is still way down here and Brock is still way up here. And if Brock had not gotten hit with that belt, he would have won. Instead of, and this what made it so frustrating. When you have Lesnar, he was dominating Lashley at that point. So Lashley was losing anyway. And we were in it was just terrible. It was terrible, bro. I was so pissed by that. I'm glad I got the outcome that I wanted. You know, I thought Brock would win. I got the outcome that I wanted with Lashley winning. I got a great angle with Roman and Paul Heyman turning on Brock. All that was good. But the crowd reaction, you split it. You stepped on Lashley winning by having Roman and Paul reconnect out there. I know a lot of people are going to be like, but why? But why is Paul going with Roman? It was obviously a scheme, right? Paul took one for the team, one Superman punch for the team, in order to prove his loyalty to his tribal chief. But then, before we even get to the Brock Lesnar Royal Rumble win, because we're talking about Roman Reigns, we have to talk about Roman and Seth, because that was fantastic. Everything about that was great. The Shield theme, Rollins coming out in the Shield gear, that was fantastic. They had a hell of a match. Usually I don't like nerd shit, like quote-unquote callbacks to previous matches, but it made sense here when they did the spear pedigree spot. You know, Rollins was using some of his old spots. It was really good stuff. When Roman started to get frustrated and Seth was laughing at him, he put the fist out and it was like, come on, bro. You know, I always love you, bro. And he was mocking Roman, and Roman was just muttering to himself. And Roman was kind of really getting frustrated. He was really getting upset. He tried the spear. It didn't work. You know, Rollins kicked out. He finally catches him in the guillotine choke. Now, I will give them shit for this. The referee was on camera and seemingly helped Rollins get to the ropes. This Bush League shit where we catching refs on TV doing shit to aid in the match. Look, we know the referees do stuff, but for fuck's sake, at least be slick about it. You know, Roman should have at least let Rollins get to the ropes. That's when you're supposed to ease up and let him make it to the ropes. Fuck you for getting the referee on TV. It almost ruined it. Then we got the disqualification. You know, the ref, Charles Robinson, is like, you gotta let go. And Roman's like, he won't let me go. He won't let me let go. You know, he deserves this. So it was a disqualification. Roman loses. So we continue the story. Seth Rollins is still got Roman Reigns' number. Roman still has not defeated Seth Rollins in a championship match. All right, cool. Good story. Disqualification, not a big deal. But WWE does so many fucking disqualifications on every single show. They do these stupid intentional disqualifications. I'm kicking you in the corner. I'm not going to stop. Referee throws the match out. It's every single fucking show. This match would have been better served if there had not been a disqualification on TV in a while. But when you have a disqualification in a match of this magnitude, when you have these guys who work their asses off, then you throw in the disqualification, people are like, oh, fuck, you know? But it was intentional. It was an intentional disqualification. It was Roman losing his mind because Seth Rollins keeps fucking with him and won't let him go. Problem with that is the disqualification sets up the rematch, right? But Brock Lesnar wins the Royal Rumble. And we know it's going to be Brock and Roman at the Royal Rumble. At WrestleMania. So that means Seth and Roman in Saudi Arabia. That's fine. Except You've blown the heat off the feud several months ago when they did Finn Balor, right? They announced Finn Balor was going to be wrestling Roman Reigns. That was fine. But the issue was everybody knew Roman versus Cena was the match at SummerSlam. So there was no way Finn Balor was going to win. That destroyed that match. That feud was completely stepped on because we knew that Roman and Cena was the money match. So why even have Roman and Finn Balor if we know Finn Balor has no chance of winning? So we have the same thing right here. Seth Rollins has no chance of winning the rematch. It's just to complete the story of Roman finally beating him so we can get Roman and Brock at WrestleMania. Bullshit. Bull fucking shit. You stepped on a perfectly decent story when all you had to do was not put Brock in the Rumble. That's all you had to do. Brock could have won the Elimination Chamber and still got his match with Roman. He's a free agent. He can jump ship from show to show. You stepped on the Seth Rollins match. So all the good stuff they did with Seth, you stepped all over that so that we can do Brock and Roman. I get they trying to get back where they were with Roman and Brock. They was trying to get back to that story. And they had to do all of this swerving and turning and all that shit in order to get back where they wanted to be, which is Brock Roman at WrestleMania. That's what they wanted. Fine. But look at all the shit you ruined in order to do so. Bobby Lashley's second title run is completely stepped on because Roman Reigns was involved. The whole point of this match was for Lashley to be on Brock's level. Now, not only do we see that he's not on Brock's level, but we see that he only won because Roman was involved. And if you look at the match, Roman threw down the WWE Championship like it wasn't shit. Like, fuck this belt, and tossed it. Okay, so he shit all over the belt. Bob won it. Nobody cares that he won because everybody's thinking about Paul and Roman. So you shit all over that. You had a great match with Seth Rollins. You ended it in disqualification, which made perfect sense. Roman destroys Seth, and then they did a really good job of when Seth was getting beat with the chair, how he sold it like Roman when he got hit with the chair for the Shield. He fell all over the ropes. They did that with Seth Rollins, where the first chair shot, Seth fell into the ropes. And then he just started blasting him again and again and again. Made perfect sense. It was Seth Rollins being suffering for what he really did, which is he wants to relive the past. He wants to live in the past. This is his comeuppance for the past. Does it turn him babyface? Yes, it should have. If it didn't turn him babyface, I have no idea what they're doing. Then they probably don't have any idea what they're doing. So Seth Rollins, his comeuppance, finally laying upon the cross for what he did for the Shield, made perfect sense. But you shit all over that because now everybody's only talking about Roman and Brock. So now you got Seth, who's going to continue laughing at Roman, continue talking about the Shield, continue, digging that hole. But it means nothing because we know he's just going to lose the next match. So it's garbage booking. It spoils the match for Roman and Seth in Saudi Arabia. It spoiled that match. We know Roman's not going to win. And we know it's not going to be a triple threat match with Roman, Brock, and Seth. We know that's not going to occur. So what was the point of booking this thing to continue when we've already made our decision? Roman, Brock, WrestleMania. What the fuck was the point of that? Look at all this shit that you ruined. It's like Simba and Mufasa. You look like everything that the light touches, we have turned to shit. Now we can finally get to the men's Royal Rumble match, which was awful. It was awful. It was, for starters, it was so much of who that, who there. So much of that shit. Like, I didn't know Rick Boogs or Madcap Moss had their own theme songs. I knew Ridge Holland had a theme song. I saw it on NXT UK, and I saw it in NXT. I knew he had a theme song. I wasn't expecting to hear it, but I knew he had one. And I'm just looking. Look at this roster of these guys. But even more important, if you look at the shit people that they put in this fucking match, we could have done without Boogs, Dominic Mysterio. We could have done without, Angelo Dawkins. We could have done a lot of these people, and could have slid in some legends. Could have slid in some NXT talent. Fuck's sake, we could have put Cesaro in this match. We could have put Finn Balor in this match. Neither one of them was in it. What the fuck were you thinking? What were you thinking? Oh, this match was awful. It was awful. AJ Styles, tremendous. He was the Iron Man. He came in, he worked almost 30 minutes. Shinsuke Nakamura, really good. The Nakamura style stuff was good. We had opportunities when it came to Austin Theory. We didn't follow up any of the stories. That was the number one problem with this match. Not even the talent roster. The talent roster is garbage, okay? It's Robert Roode, who we know he's not going to win. Dolph Ziggler, who we know not going to win. Riddle, we know not going to win. All that kind of stuff. We get that, but we need to have bodies in there to mix in with the stars to, break it up, break up the monotony. Have some guys that's on the roster on here. But you need to actually tell some of the stories that are in this fucking match too, and they didn't do any of that. The biggest waste was probably Damian Priest, who they put in there with Amos. And, Chad Gable had the bright idea that everybody's going to jump Amos. They sent Damian Priest out there first by himself because he's the biggest guy in the ring at the time. Amos just eliminates him. And I was like, nice push you got there. Same thing with Shinsuke Nakamura, who got tossed out. And nice push. Good job. Great job showcasing your Intercontinental Champion and United States Champion. You made them look like stupid fucking idiots. Robert Roode. I know I said his name for a reason. Robert Roode looks more and more like Triple H every time I see him. I think the Vince McMahon is going to turn around and be like, God damn, pal, did you find the fountain of youth? It's like, that's not Triple H. That is Robert Roode. He has the same beard and everything now. If he was blonde, he would be indistinguishable from Triple H. But you look at the roster of this match, what makes it worse is the not even the lack of stars, but the lack of stories. And then you look at how some of the favorites were used. Some of the people that we thought were big stars were treated like shit. Like I said, Damian Priest. Austin Theory has a story. He was in the match for 22 minutes. That's important. But he was thrown out pretty much unceremoniously. The biggest pops of the entire evening were Johnny Knoxville and Bad Bunny. They got the biggest pops of the night. Once two celebrities get the biggest pops in your Royal Rumble match, you know you've done something wrong. This Royal Rumble match yanked the curtain off of all the WWE smoke and mirrors. They do not have any star power. And then they didn't even pretend that they did. They didn't even try to, bolster the roster with a little something. They didn't even use some of the really good upper mid-card guys. Like I said, Balor and Cesaro. They didn't even use them. What the fuck are they on the roster for? Are they hurt? If they're hurt, then just tell us that they're hurt. But not having Balor and not having Cesaro, but giving us Madcap fucking Moss and Rick Boogs. It's like, come on. Come the fuck on. Nobody believes in these guys. And then they came back to back. I know that there was some botches in this match. I think there was supposed to have been a Sheamus Ridge Holland spot, but Sheamus didn't get there in time and Ridge fell on the floor. We know Kofi botched his spot, which there was bad omens all over this show. The fucking WrestleMania sign catching on fire. Kofi Kingston botching his WrestleMania spot for the first time in forever. He finally screwed it up. I know a lot of people were kind of laughing at him, but I kind of felt bad for him because this is really all he had. And maybe it was going to involve some shit with Big E. And the Big E thing really bothered a lot of people. Because Big E was the favorite of about 60 to 70% of the people who were watching this show. They thought Big E's got a chance. They got to do the right thing. They did half of it. They kind of fucked it up, but they did half of it by putting Bobby Lashley back in the title picture. The other half is Big E. That's the other half. And then they treated Big E like shit. He catches an RKO, gets thrown over the top rope. I was like, holy shit. He didn't even get into the final four. He didn't even get into the final five. I was like, wow. They just, I don't know what you do. Sure, he can win the Elimination Chamber, which he probably will. But for fuck's sake, bro. This is the most watched event they're going to have until WrestleMania. You have to fucking, even if he's going to lose, you have to showcase him. They fucked this up so badly. And once again, it was Big E being pushed aside for Brock Lesnar. Once again. Horse fucking shit. Brock winning wasn't even the problem. Right? There was no stories going into this match. Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn was pretty much the only story. Johnny Knoxville came in, he did okay. You know, he laid in that forearm that, AJ Styles kind of asked for. He laid it in. It was pretty neat. Then he got hit with the phenomenal combo and got knocked on his ass. Then he got put on the ring apron. He got booted out by Sami Zayn. All right, cool. That was fine. But then Johnny Knoxville also came into the ring looking like a fucking white blank man. He looked stupid. He was wearing I don't know if y'all have ever seen that comic book Red Rooster, but you've probably seen it in Walmart. That's how fucking he looked. With the all-white jumpsuit with the red tights and everything. I'm like, why do people think that wrestlers look fucking stupid like this? You know? I know Madcap Moss is not, the fashion plate of professional wrestling, for fuck's sake. But nobody comes out dressed like that. That looked like not even some territory era shit. It was absolutely awful. It was awful gear. But he didn't do too bad. And he got a huge pop. Can't hate that. Bad Bunny did awesome in this match. Bad Bunny got to team up with Rey Mysterio. That was fun. I really enjoyed the Bad Bunny Rey Mysterio stuff. That was cool. Bad Bunny got to come in and do some hurricanranas and really look kind of decent in this match. He's probably one of the continually the best celebrity involvement in WWE in forever. He's very good. He was one of the few highlights in this match. Drew McIntyre makes a big return in this match just to lose, which was weird. Then they had Madcap Moss eliminate AJ Styles, which I know sent a lot of people up the wall. There was people really pissing up the rope because Madcap Moss eliminated AJ Styles. I didn't like it, but I got it. They wanted to put some heat on these guys for when Drew comes out, and they did it. Drew came out, absolutely destroyed, quote unquote, the happy folks. And they need to learn one day that Corbin and Moss are absolute vacuums of heat. They don't have any heat. They just suck, and everybody hates them. And it's not we hate them in a funny way. It's we literally want to change the channel when they come on TV. And I know that they're bad on purpose, and that's part of the character and everything, but they're not interesting. So, to me, you could have done everything you wanted to do to them. You could have set these motherfuckers on fire. I didn't want to see them again. And by this point, by the time Drew McIntyre came out there, I was already complaining about the lack of star power in this Royal Rumble match. It was absolute shit. It was shitty. This was a shitty match. It was a butt sputter. That's how bad this match was. Shane McMahon made a return, which I thought was great. If Shane had come in earlier, it probably would have been a little bit more fun. He could have broke up that monotony of, Gable and Dominic and Corbin and Ziggler and all that shit. If he'd have came in earlier, got a nice little pop hung in there, it might have been fun. But Shane came in kind of late. I think he was 28. They kind of revisited his feud with Kevin Owens. All right. Nah. I didn't hate Shane McMahon being in it. I thought it was fine. Randy Orton gets a huge reaction. Huge reaction. You're thinking, okay, Randy's 29. Drew's still in there. We could have a really good Final Four with, at least the three of the Final Four could be Brock, Randy, and Drew. They fucked all that up. Because Randy was out not too long after he got in there. He did a little bit of stuff with Riddle, but Randy was out pretty quickly. Bullshit. Bull fucking shit. This match was so bad. It was so bad. And Brock just wins. Brock and I don't even remember who the Final Four was. The Final Four was Brock, Shane, Drew, and maybe Randy, maybe Bad Bunny. I don't know. But it was stupid. We finally get down to Brock and Drew was very loud. He's like, "We've been waiting for this for a long time." Huh? Yeah. Now there's people here. Meant nothing. F5 over the top rope. I was like, man. Look, you can have a predictable Royal Rumble match. You can tell a predictable story in the Royal Rumble. That's not the problem. 1998 Royal Rumble was predictable with Stone Cold Steve Austin winning. It was predictable. What the worst thing WWE does is when they rely on number 30 is going to win. Therefore, we're not going to do anything else from 1 to 28. They're only going to have one real challenger in this match. And then they're going to throw that person over with relative ease. This match was almost a mirror of the 2008 Royal Rumble, except the 2008 Royal Rumble at least had Snuka and Piper in it. They waited with no fucking stars. Well, at least 2008 had Shawn and Undertaker in it too. And they got to last in it for a while. Here, the only people that was of any real star power was AJ Styles, and he was gone about halfway through the match. They fucked this up so royally. It made it so boring. It made it so predictable. And then made it so easy for Brock. He didn't really have to even do any work. He came in and pretty much just picked up everybody and threw them out. It was absolute dog shit from top to bottom. It was embarrassing. Now, is this the worst Royal Rumble match of all time? I see a lot of people say that. I don't know. I got to let it sit in for a little bit. It's one of. This is the worst Royal Rumble match they've had since 2015, though. 2015 was legit bad for the same reasons. They leaned so heavily into one person, and then they made that one person so obviously the winner, and they didn't entertain anybody else winning this match. They didn't even build to anybody else winning that match. They didn't even build to anyone winning this match. It's supposed to be, it's a big surprise that Brock is going to win. It's like, no, that's not how you build Royal Rumbles. Whoever booked this should be fired tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, you should be getting a pink slip or an email. We no longer require your services. This was garbage. And this is what the entire show was built on. So the last taste that everybody gets out of their mouth in this fucking show is Brock Lesnar getting a relative easy win in the Royal Rumble. Fuck you. Now the Women's Rumble was significantly better. It was so much better. It was like night and day how much better it was. The Women's Royal Rumble match had better stories told. It had surprises. It felt like a genuine Royal Rumble match. Now it wasn't great. It wasn't great. But it was good. It was a worthy Royal Rumble match. We started with Sasha Banks, who comes out dressed like Sailor Moon. And then we get Molina, who I forgot even existed. Because I was like, okay, maybe there's no chance of Molina coming out there. But she got her entrance. Great reaction. She was crying. Everybody was happy to see her. And she was out 45 seconds later. I was like, oh boy. Oh brother. Oh brother. So then we got all of the people that they announced. The only other surprise was really Ivory, who came out, like Granny Goodness, talking about all of the sad little girls, all of you sad little girls, all you lost little girls. And then Rhea Ripley kind of politely put her over the top rope. And as she is, how dare you put your hands on me? How dare you put your hands on me? As she gets thrown over the top rope. Like, that was great. That was fantastic. I love that. I know Ivory is up there in age, so it makes sense that she wouldn't be out there taking bumps. I don't know how old she is. But she's got to be in her probably late 40s, 50s, maybe. And it was wild that she took, she was even in the match. And it was fun, That character fits today's world perfectly, though. Like, she is the Karen of society. And she is that's society today, is Ivory. So that was fun. Michelle McCool was in this match. She could just come back. Michelle McCool is still young enough to have a run. You know, I know she probably enjoys being a mom now. She doesn't really need to do this. But Michelle McCool always looks good. She was so ahead of her time that she actually looks a lot better than so many of the other women who came in. You know, especially like, you know, some of the younger ones who really wasn't really sure about what to do with themselves in this match. So the Women's Royal Rumble match told some really good stories. For starters, the Naomi, Sonya Deville, Cameron story. Fantastic. I do have some issues with it, which I will talk about in a second. But overall, they did a good job. You know, Sonya Deville comes out at number 11. She is wearing her jacket, which means she's the boss. So he goes over to commentary. He's like, look, I'll just hang out over here. Cameron comes out at number 13. Sonya Deville doesn't know who Cameron is. Cameron is way before her time. And then so many other people are kind of the same way. So which match she didn't get that much of a reaction. Because everybody was like, who? Who the fuck is that? Who that? Who there? And so Cameron comes out, and as commentary is bleeding on about Cameron and who Cameron is, Sonya Deville is listening like, you say that she and Naomi were friends? And they was like, I guess so. They were tag team partners a long time ago. And then Sonya Deville was like, okay. And she went in there and wrecked Cameron, beat the shit out of her, and threw her out, which was great, right? So it was great heat. Naomi comes out at number 14 right after Cameron, which means they probably just saw each other in the shoot. So Naomi marches to the ring, and Sonya Deville's like, come on, come get you some. But Naomi took time to go check on Cameron, which I think is one of the most fantastic babyface things that you could possibly do. It reminds me a lot of when you see superheroes. Like, probably my favorite is like Dragon Ball. When Goku shows up to fight Frieza, and he comes, and when he shows up, you know, Frieza's ready to fight. But Goku takes stock of his allies first. Where is everybody? You know, where's his son? Where's Krillin? You know, where's Vegeta? You know, where's everybody? Take care of them first. You know, see what's going on with them first. Then you engage the villain. So after Naomi made sure Cameron was okay after her vicious behind-the-back assault from Sonya Deville, she got in the ring and handled the Sonya Deville problem. She fought Sonya Deville, threw her out. Big reaction for Naomi. Great job. But they didn't end it there. As Naomi is trying to do one of her spectacular saves, Sonya Deville grabs her by the legs and pulls her out. So Sonya Deville eliminated Naomi. So this story gets to continue. And you know what? The thing that they've been doing for the last 2 days has made Naomi look like one of the biggest baby faces in the business. We still don't know why they're doing this. And I don't like that part. But what they've been doing on Friday and Saturday, as far as Naomi and Sonya Deville, has been pretty good. It could have been better with, you know, if Sonya Deville would have made Naomi start the match or something like that. They could have done it better. They also could have done it better by having Sonya Deville maybe come in after Naomi, you know, or, you know, maybe having her own friend like Mandy Rose come out there and yank Naomi out or attack Cameron, because Mandy Rose has a squad, you know, Toxic Attraction. Now we know Mandy and Sonya they weren't really getting along that much, but we could whitewash that. You know, we know that Mandy and Sonya are best friends. Why not have Toxic Attraction jump the Funkadactyls and throw them out? You know, there's so many other fun ways you could have done it, but I was cool with that. You know, I thought that was really good. The Rhea Ripley and Nikki Ash story, I thought was really well told. Rhea Ripley is in the match. She's hanging around near the ropes. So you're like, oh shit. As Nikki's music is playing, Rhea Ripley is like, come on, bring her ass on out here. I'm finally going to get you. And Nikki attacks her from behind. So she comes from the announcer's side because she was hanging out in the timekeeper's area. And she throws Rhea Ripley over the top rope. But Rhea Ripley is too strong. She muscles her way back in. And now Nikki's like, oh no, let's talk about this. Oh no. Which was great. So Nikki is, you know, trying to run away from Rhea all night. But then we got the really good Nikki Ash part where, you know, Mighty Molly comes out there. And Nikki just absolutely destroys Molly. Out of nowhere, just blasts her like boom and just knocks her right on her ass. Then she takes her into the ring and she growls in her ear, there can only be one superhero, and then throws her out. So they really put a lot of heat on Nikki in this situation, which was fantastic stuff. You know, I really enjoyed how they really put emphasis on the Nikki Rhea story. That was good. It made sense. Mickie James came out with the hardcore country theme, which is, I was shocked. I thought for sure she was going to come in with the WWE theme. But hardcore country blasting at the Royal Rumble, fantastic. Got a huge reaction. Everybody loves to see Mickie James. She got eliminated by Lita, but she did good for herself. She was in there for like, I think I wrote down how long she was in it, 13 minutes maybe. But she was in it for a long time. You know, we had some fun with Mickie being in there. She didn't get a showcase like, you know, you would have thought, but it was still pretty good. To double back to Rhea Ripley, we also continued the story between Rhea Ripley, Zelina Vega, and Carmella. As when she came into the match, Zelina and Carmella were already in, and they decided to jump her and try to beat her up, but she ended up eliminating both of them by herself. So we got that story that they told. They even told the Summer Rae Natalya story as Summer Rae comes in, running to the ring, and she gets into it with Natalya because they've been beefing on Twitter all this time. The commentary team told us about it. The crowd probably didn't really care that much, but it was fun. You know, it was at least somebody feuding with somebody else in the match, somebody that she had a target on. Liv Morgan was the Iron Woman. She was in the match for about 37 minutes. So she was actually the person in the Royal Rumble match the longest of the men and the women. We got Sarah Logan to come in to be her buddy. That was really cool. Then they both got tossed out by the Bella Twins. So, you know, it was an interesting thing. They even told a Bella Twins story because I think Nikki had eliminated Brie the previous year. This time, Brie eliminated Nikki. So that was fine. You know, that was all good. Then you had Charlotte. Charlotte comes in, and this was a down slot for the match because Charlotte essentially dominated everybody. She came in and absolutely dominated everybody. You know, she had the most eliminations with 5. She was in the final 4. She was the last person in the ring. None of this was fucking necessary, by the way. You know, we get it. We want to highlight Charlotte, but for fuck's sake, there's other people. You know, this is a huge problem that WWE has when they want to put too much emphasis on Charlotte. It's like, for fuck's sake. Ronda Rousey, of course, is the winner. She was in there with Shayna Baszler, which is fun. You know, I thought they were going to have like a wrestling match or something like that. You know, just kind of have like this almost Ken and Ryu type of relationship where they was going to test against each other, but the ring was crowded and everything. Ronda Rousey. I'm not upset about Ronda Rousey winning. I'm not. You know, mainly because once I kind of saw that she was going to be in it, I was like, all right, she's going to win. But my thing is, Ronda's punches look awful. There is, I loathe really to put over other YouTube channels, but this one is worth it. Go to Napoleon Blown Apart. He does MMA videos. He has videos on this Edward Tarverdyan, who was the trainer of Ronda Rousey. And it is absolutely fucking hilarious. It is a hilarious takedown / biography of this guy. It's tremendous and it's very witty and it's very good. And you can, and I loved it. So please go. That's your homework. Go watch that video. It's fantastic. And every time I see Ronda throw a punch, I just see head movement, head movement, head movement. A lot of people hate Ronda Rousey. I'm like, look, she won most of her fights. I know everybody started saying that everybody she fought was a bum. It's like, that's the shit that people do in retrospect. You know, they did it to Mike Tyson too. It's like, because not everybody you fought was on the same level as Amanda Nunes or something like that, all of a sudden they were bums. It's like, come on. You know, yes, you know, competition eventually caught up to them. That happens in every sport. You know, you have a dominant streak and then eventually people start to catch up. You know, the competition gets stronger, it gets better, they get younger. You know, so that kind of thing kind of occurs. After you've been on top for several years, somebody young is bound to knock you out. Somebody with more experience or something like that is bound to take you down. So I'm not too upset about Ronda winning. Having 2 former UFC champions win at the Royal Rumble might have been a bit much, but I was okay with that. Oh, and I forgot. They actually did the Shotzi and Lita story too, but they didn't focus on it too much. But they did some stuff with Shotzi and Lita, which was fine. So the women's Royal Rumble, I had no problems with it. I had no problem with it. I don't care that Ronda won. It was great that she won. I would have liked for her to do more in terms of actually earning it. I would have liked for her to be in there with more people to mix it up with more talent. But they put so much focus on her and Charlotte. And even Charlotte was the last person she threw out. So they put Charlotte over super fucking strong in this match. Which, of course, we know ain't necessary. Ain't necessary. But they did what they did. Ronda winning, of course, was fine. Ronda pointing at the WrestleMania sign absolutely ruined Doudrop versus Becky Lynch, because now their lives are on the line because they got a flaming WrestleMania sign behind them, and that bitch is about to come down. It's melting. It's dripping plastic and everything all over them. So they had to get those people out of the way. Meanwhile, Doudrop and Becky Lynch is going in there trying to have a really good match. They did a really good job of having Doudrop look like a physical threat, even though she wasn't. There was no chance of her winning. So the match was taken away because the Royal Rumble match was right before it, and which makes me believe they probably should have had the Royal Rumble match first. But then what are they going to put out? They still could have put Doudrop and Becky Lynch after it. Becky wins with the manhandle slam from the second rope. Now, I know I talked about the women's Royal Rumble without mentioning Bianca Belair. I wasn't thrilled about the way Bianca, Rhea, or Sasha was used in this match. But Bianca, I kind of figured when Ronda won, Bianca would win the Elimination Chamber. I kind of saw that coming. So that's what I'm going to go with, is that Bianca Belair is probably going to win the Elimination Chamber, or whatever match they're going to have. I know some people think it's not going to be an Elimination Chamber because for the women. Whatever they're going to do, whether it's a tournament, a battle royal, whatever. They're probably going to have Bianca Belair win that match, to which she's going to wrestle Becky Lynch. But Becky Lynch winning was absolutely the right decision. I had no problem with that decision. The match was the bring me down match, because Doudrop is not really over. And this match was heel versus heel. So it was just basically, if you cared to see how Doudrop could do in a top spot against Becky Lynch, this match was it. So if you kind of wanted to go stretch your legs, get some popcorn, go take a shit or something like that, that's what this match was for. Really unfortunate, but that's what this match was for. At least Becky Lynch won. So that was fine. But I did like that Becky Lynch pulled out the Molly go round, which I thought was pretty slick. All right. So the last match to talk about is Beth Phoenix and Edge versus Miz and Maryse. And I got to tell you, Maryse not only is beautiful, she's gorgeous. The woman's gorgeous. But she's also a fantastic heel. Now, a lot of people didn't care about this match either, because this show was about the Royal Rumble matches and the two big title matches. This was after Bob and Brock. So this was, everybody needs to come down from all the Roman and stuff and all Bobby winning. And now we send out Beth and Edge to team up against Miz and Maryse. I thought this match was pretty good. It was good for what it was. Maryse had 100 tricks. She ran away from Beth Phoenix for most of the match. She finally did hit Maryse with the purse, which somebody said was probably a Bible in the purse. Everybody knows there's a brick in that damn purse. I really would have wished that would have been the finish, and they wouldn't have had Beth kick out of getting hit in the head with a brick. But that just seemed like it was a bit much. But it was fun. They had the double spear on the Miz, where Beth and Edge both speared the Miz. Maryse got a flying head scissors on Edge. That was great. Miz and Beth kind of squared up. So they did some really fun, really, some comedy stuff. But it came across as being very serious. But Miz and Maryse aren't a serious threat. They're comedic heels. But they're fantastic at the same time, because they have great timing and they know what to do. Maryse can work. She showed a little bit of what she can do here, but mostly she was all charisma, all character, which is Maryse's strong suit. She has tremendous charisma, and you kind of are entrapped in what she's doing. So when she was doing little stuff, like she did a little hair flip on the rope, it got a big reaction because people are like, boo, Like, Maurice is not out here to do head scissor takeover. She proves that she can do that stuff, but she doesn't have to. She got charisma. She don't have to do any of that shit. Okay, she's really good at getting heat because she knows what she's doing, and she went out there and ran away from Beth for as long as she could. So the finish was the double glam slam. Beth on Maurice, Edge on Miz, and everybody went home happy. At least on that tip. Before the men's Royal Rumble match came and pissed all over everybody. So from a show perspective, the best match on the show was easily Roman and Seth, and that match ended in disqualification. The women's Royal Rumble match was the best Royal Rumble match. It was actually pretty good. Had no problems with that. I had big problems with the men's Royal Rumble match. Wasn't thrilled with Bobby and Brock. I was kind of disappointed, if we're being honest. I was looking more of a clash of the Titans, but it seemed more like Brock had gotten beat by some mid-card dude. And that wasn't fun. That wasn't good at all. You know, hopefully Bob can gain some momentum now that the dirty business with Brock is over. Big E, Bianca, who were the favorites going into this match as far as winning the Royal Rumble is concerned, they really do need to win those Elimination Chamber matches. You know, like we've been trying to tell story, like people have been very patient with the Bianca Belair story because it's been going on since August. That she's been chasing Becky Lynch. They could have had Becky Lynch throw Bianca Belair out of the Royal Rumble. They should have done that. You know, that's really what they should have done. You know, that wouldn't have been a big problem. You know, and Bianca should have been one of the last people in, and then Becky Lynch slid in the ring and threw her out, or something like that. And that would have been fine, but, you know, they decided to have her and lose with a bunch of other people in anticlimactic fashion. Same thing with Big E. So hopefully they can correct that and we can get better matches out of that. But both Royal Rumble winners going to SmackDown says that SmackDown is the A show and those champions are the A champions. That's pretty much what we learned from this show. And that they don't give a fuck about the Royal Rumble match. At least at the men's, anyway. They didn't give a fuck about that joint. You know? And both title matches ended in fuck finishes. So you really didn't get... The only match that had like a really clean finish... Well, I guess Becky and Doudrop had a clean finish. But, you know, Beth Phoenix, the mixed tag match, was the only match that had like a clean finish that sent everybody home happy. Everything else was about fucking over people. You know? And that's not exactly my cup of tea. So, whatever. But let me know what you guys thought about the Royal Rumble match in the description, in the comment section, rather. Like this video, more likes. Share this video. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for your time. I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace.